Okay. This is an introductory video to talk about some of the different models of spraymation guns that we make. I'm David Kurzel. I'm from the engineering department. And I'd just like to give kind of a introductory talk. The full-size electromatic gun is our main product. This is what all the rest of these guns that we're going to be talking about are based on. It's a simple extrusion applicator. It's available in hot and cold versions. We'll talk a little more about that as we go on. You can see that all these different models look very similar. This particular one is a cone spray applicator. It just has a different end on it. Actually, a lot of the internal parts are different to make room for the moving needle and the air passages that are needed to make it spray. There are different kinds of spray caps, like this one with a V that makes a fan pattern. This particular one that I showed you before makes a cone pattern. Customers want special guns like this one, where they can have the fluid come in the normal path, but also have an auxiliary path for fluid to come out, so they can hook a bunch of these applicators together in a daisy chain, or have a heated fluid continually flow through them to maintain temperature. The extrusion guns can be fitted with an airless tip, which will make a high-pressure spray. This is used a lot of times in the paper industry for doing tail tie and core pickup applications. The specialty guns. This is one of the oldest guns. This is an Electromatic 9. And it has a very small air atomizing air cap. And this makes a very fine line of atomized material. And this is used a lot of times in medical products. We have a line of handguns for people that need something where they can operate it by hand. This is an extrusion one. It's very similar just to a hot melt glue gun. This particular one is hot. There are cold versions. In addition to normal spray, we also have another kind of spray, which is called air dispersed. And it has a slightly different air cap yet. It basically shoots a jet of adhesive out and makes a swirling pattern of air that grabs that like a tornado and sets down a spiral of adhesives. Some adhesives have such high viscosities that they don't really atomize. So this way you can disperse it using air to cover a larger area. One of the things that Spraymation does that a lot of other people don't do is we're willing to customize one or two guns. For example, this gun. This has an extended 4-inch extension on the between the gun and the actual seat where the liquids turn on and off. These are typically used for coating the inside of cans, so that this can drop inside of a can and come back out. We make special little tips like this one. It may be difficult to see, but this thing puts out a little 1/4-inch wide band of adhesive instead of just a single line. There are special ones like this one that have a multiple number of little tips that dispense a whole series of dots in one shot onto a product. These kind of things are typically used to put the little cardboard liner inside a bottle cap or something like that. Other times that same kind of concept can be used here where they're all in line to put down 3. By putting down multiple lines on a product that's moving, you can make a sift-proof glue closure, and that'll prevent a powdered product like flour or something like that from sifting out of the box as the box is transported. We make guns where we take multiple guns. This one has 4 independent guns, just like this, inside this housing, but has one common manifold, one common fluid inlet. Each of these are independently controlled, and this thing would be designed so that these centers are exactly what you need for your product. Another type of applicator is this. This is a slot coater, and it has one long nozzle, and this puts out a ribbon of adhesive about 10 inches wide. It basically is this type of applicator here with another manifold and the slot plate to evenly disperse the adhesive so it can be deposited on your product. The same multiple outlet configuration can be done with multiple air dispersed guns, so that these patterns will come out. They will end up being about 2 inches in diameter, and this will end up making a pattern that's about 7 or 8 inches wide, continuous coverage of overlapping spirals. There are all kinds of other things. We also have a couple other series of guns. We have a group of air-operated guns, as opposed to the electrically operated ones. They are made up of little modules, air-operated modules, that go onto a manifold here. You can put them together however you want. We can make anything that customizes the center spacing for any specific application. This particular one is another air-operated one, but it's been made in the slot coating configuration. This is the biggest of the applicators, the all-electric applicators that we make. This is Electromatic 5. It's got a 1/4-inch hole all the way through. It is used in real high-flow applications. It's also used in a lot of difficult applications where there might be some solids in the fluid. One of the typical applications that this has been used in recently is putting the salt and butter in microwave popcorn bags. A newer applicator is our mid-sized group, the 9900s, and they are very similar to the standard full-size gun. They use the same plunger, the same seat, the same tips, the same everything that we can have in there. But to make it smaller, we had to make the coil smaller and a lot of other things. It's only available in a cold version. It weighs about 70% of the big gun. It takes about 70% of the operating pressure, so it's good to about 2,000 psi. These are good to 2,500. It uses a standard modular connector, and it's a very nice little 24-volt gun. Even on these kind of guns, we'll make specials. This is a special version with a side inlet electrical connector and a special mounting block. Specials are something that we don't have a problem with. The final little group of guns from us are the miniguns, the 130 series. These guns are incredibly small compared to that. They're made out of standard pieces. This one, the 131, is an extrusion applicator. It works to about 200 psi. It operates on 24 volts. And it has some viscosity limits, that it is basically best suited to lower viscosity fluids, oils, waters, things like that. It is also available in a spray version, either with a cone spray like this one, or with a fan spray air cap. The parts can be interchanged. The air caps, the air caps are identical through all the guns. Spray patterns are virtually identical through all the different sizes of guns. So I think that's a brief introduction to the wide diversity of electromatic applicators that we have here. And I hope this helps you a little understand or be able to identify them. Thank you.